Welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and my guests today are two of the members from the Thunder Bay and District Injured Workers Support Group, Greg Snider and Eugene Lefrancois. So we're talking about this platform for change. This is a document that you guys brought in today, which is kind of your position on how to reform and improve the workers' compensation system for all workers in Ontario. And you've got it broken down into 9 big categories. We only touched on the one. Let's look at that rehabilitation, vocational and social rehabilitation. Eugene, what are you recommending there? What changes do you want to see?
Well, right now, there are a lot of injuries in the service sector, and usually service sector jobs pay minimum wage. That's all they pay. If you get injured at a minimum wage job, you will not get any retraining from the WSIB, because there is a job out there in Ontario that pays minimum wage that you can do, and the board or the WSIB will deem, that's another thing we didn't even talk about yet, will deem that you have that job. So if you got injured lifting a 100-pound bag of potatoes into the kitchen, and you slipped on a little bit of oil, and you get off work, and you're hurt, and you cannot go back to work because you wrecked your back, you will not get any retraining from the WSIB. As it stands with the Act today, we have to change that. If you can't work at the job that you did, find you something, regardless if it's anything, but retrain you, not because you just made minimum wage and we'll just cap that at minimum wage, but we'll give you some incentives to find work, to help you to get back on your feet, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
And what about the social rehabilitation? How does that play into it?
Well, social rehabilitation is that if you were employed in one spot for 20 years and you got injured, you lost that social area of your life. That you spend more time with your workers than you did with your family in a lot of jobs. You have to break out of that. You have to get out of that. And a lot of, I'm finding through some statistics that injured workers face depression, suicide, the family breakup, abuse, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. And we have to fix that social ill, because why should you give up life because you got injured on the job? That is the biggest question, and I don't have the answers, but we're trying to get the answer. And maybe this is a good way to, like you said, a community conversation right here.
So, Greg, you're also the webmaster for the Thunder Bay Injured Workers. We won't get through all this in the show. Can people find this and take a look themselves?
Yes, it is on our website, which is www.thunderbayinjuredworkers.com. And we've got on there, we've got the Platform for Change has its own page. If you go across the front at the top bar, there's a Platform for Change there. We're also in the process of sort of doing an article on each of the different aspects of the Platform for Change. So there's the first article I think is up, the second article is ready to go, so it should be up in the next, well, it should be up by the time this air shows, actually. So hopefully we'll have, by the time the air shows, we'll have 3 articles up there. I'm planning on trying to do one a week to get them up and going and go through each of the parts of the Platform for Change in more detail. So you can read the Platform for Change, and if there's certain parts that you want more information on, you can find those articles and look at them. We'll also put other information up there as well. Important dates are coming up when we're having our public meetings is there. And we're certainly welcome any feedback we can get on any of the articles we write or anything else. Just hit the comments and put a comment in for sure.
Okay, so people are definitely encouraged to go to the website, thunderbayinjuredworkers.com. They can read all the text and more, and you're welcoming feedback and comments.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're trying to change the law here, I guess, like you guys were talking about earlier. Who have you talked to, and what has been the response from government?
Well, so far we've talked to many MPPs, And those ones we talk to, the many MPPs, have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. So we have to educate each MPP, but yet they are making decisions concerning injured workers. These MPPs who have absolutely no idea how it works. They're making life-changing decisions on workers who they'd have absolutely no knowledge on. So we talked to the Minister of Labor. I think we talked to 4 already, Minister of Labors. The last one said he really liked our platform for change. And maybe just a little funny, but I asked him, why don't you sign this into law? And I said, you have Michael Gravel right beside you. Both of you can sign it into law. And he said, oh. And then we'll move along.
So the Minister of Labor came here to Thunder Bay and met with you guys and with our local minister, Michael Gravel, as well?
Yes. That was in June, was it?
Yeah, just towards the end of the early June. We met with them, and they were talking about having ongoing conversations. We're still trying to arrange the ongoing part. Well, hopefully we can do something. We do have, there's other groups. I know Eugene is on the Ontario Network of Injured Worker Groups, and they have also met with the minister and others. So, you know, it's lobbying it's doing that piece of work with the minister and stuff, but we also doing our public meetings, and that's a big piece. If we can get people out to our public meetings, it sends a message to the politicians that they need to pay attention to what's going on and what's happening, and that's a concern for injured workers.
If I could just give a plug here. I'm the president of the Ontario Network of Injured Worker Groups, and we have a website. It's called injuredworkersonline.org. And right now we have, Onawig has been around since 1991, and we have yet ever to meet the premier of this province. But we are working with her staff. We just started last year working with the staff of the premier's office. That is historical.
All right, so we're just winding down. We're running out of time. Do you have any upcoming events you want to mention now, Greg?
October the 15th, we're having a public meeting. We think it's going to be centered around the election. We still have to have the subcommittee still has to meet, but we are trying to center around the federal election and what might be in the federal election party's platforms that would help injured workers.
And the place and time?
The Lakehead Labor Center on October the 15th.
If it's not sold.
I think we can book 2 months advance. I think we're good for there, but that is one of the challenges we have, is that our office is at the Lakehead Labor Center and maybe getting sold. We're hoping that we have something in place.
And so what, can you share any more about, people have been wondering, oh, they're selling the Labor Center, what's going to happen?
Well, the monument that's out in front is getting moved over to the Finlandia Labor Temple. There's a small park beside them where it's going to go there. And
same as the Hoito building there.
Right beside the Hoito, yeah, it'd be right beside the Hoito.
Right on the corner.
So that's exciting. And as far as the Thunder Bay Injured Workers Group finding a room, one of the unions in town, the Ontario Public Service Employees Union, has made a commitment to try to help fit us into a new space if they find a new space that has room. So we're hoping for that, but that's still well in the works.
All right, I want to thank both you guys for coming today. We're out of time. I want to thank our viewers for participating. We do have a Facebook page. It's Community Conversations. We love to hear your comments or feedback, questions. Please get in touch and stay tuned. Our next guest will be Frank Puglia, councillor here with the City of Thunder Bay. Stay safe until we see you again next week.